Hello friends, family and other creatures of the sea, and welcome back to another high-level game of StarCraft 2. Today in the bottom left spawning as our blue Zerg player playing for team, I think Afrika Freaks, it's going to be soO. And in the top right as our red Terran player playing for team GP, it's Ryung. Ryung is an interesting case. He's a Terran that has a brain that works extremely well, and that's not the only unique thing about him. He also seems to be one of the main advisors for Maru when it comes to build orders. I know that they discuss a lot. I know that Ryung was kind of responsible for introducing Maru to the Ghost mech, which we have seen Maru play a lot, especially against Raynor and Serral. Just loves to take out that strategy every now and again. Funnily enough, Maru kind of prefers to play Bio often against the Korean Zergs, but then when it comes to these European Zergs, he's like, you know what, mech actually is pretty decent, let me try some of that crap. And sometimes to great success, sometimes to less great success. We'll have to wait and see if Ryung actually is going to opt for that mech. He's also capable of playing Bio, of course. And as the map is inside and out, it is a relatively easy split map scenario. And the real strength of Ryung is in the late game, where the actual speed doesn't matter so much anymore, but the understanding on how to take fights, how to move the units is definitely there. Ryung is one of the older players that we have in StarCraft 2. Pushing 31, I believe. soO, probably 30, I think, right now. Isn't he? soO's from 92, I believe. Ryung from 91. So the earlier generations of StarCraft. soO's still very quick, though. It's actually, still to this day, it's kind of known for his pretty solid mechanics. His over-aggressive style in the early and mid-game, and then a lot of solid mechanics behind this. So we see Ryung opening up with a triple CC opener here. And then there's a couple of things that he can do as a follow-up. This seems to be a starport before a refinery, which is interesting. Would indicate maybe a bit of a delay there if it's Banshees. I don't think it's going to be Banshee. I think it will just be a Viking, personally. I do like Viking build orders a lot. Love watching these bad boys go. Then the positioning of the barracks makes it look like the tech lab definitely wants to swap over with that starport. Reaper makes its way in towards the main base, pops away this queen, and then just checking the gas. So you're like, well, what did he really see? Probably clicked the gas here, saw that only 150 gas was mined from the start of the game, knows that 100 gas gets invested into speed, and it's like, alright, most likely it's not going to be roaches. Technically possible for a roach warren to be here and speed to be cancelled last moment, but it is somewhat unlikely. And even if that's the case, there would be no gas whatsoever for Ravager. So it would be like, what, 6 roaches, no Ravagers, no speed. That's not the biggest issue. It is going to be a Banshee. We're even going to be seeing Cloak, I do believe, here. Yep, there we go. So good call out of me, calling the no Cloak Banshee and thinking it would be a Viking. Love to hear it. A couple of queens are just popping out right now as the creep spread is starting to establish a little bit. Pop. First tumor is going to get taken out. This is a difficult map for Hellion rotations, but I was wondering what he was doing there with the Hellions. Maybe I thought maybe a new upgrade the Hellions also can boost in, but it seems like the Reaper just wanted to pop up there for whatever reason. And the reason why these rotations are so difficult, to kind of finish my sentence, is because if you want to go to a different part of the map, so imagine you want to deny some creep on the left side, you need to run around this entire path. By the time your Hellions arrive on the left side, like, the queen should already be in position easily. So majority of the time we kind of see Terrans control the middle of the map and then the right side over here, because there the rotation is a little bit shorter. It's about the same length for Hellions as it is for queens. Now, of course, soO knows this and is just going to pre-split the queens like this. This is a beautiful pre-split, by the way. I don't think he's going to have any issues whatsoever on this map if he sets up like this. Beautiful stuff. Absolutely beautiful stuff. Good luck trying to go for a run by there. 2 more barracks on the way. This was 8 cars, 2 Banshees. Banshees have saved up at home. And another fun thing is... Ooh. No. Okay, doesn't get a spot. So far, Ryung has only shown 6 Hellions. So, I don't know what that means, but... So far, soO has only seen 6 Hellions. And that might be a tell. I'm not quite sure why otherwise you would keep these 2 extra Hellions at home. Maybe to do with run-bys. Maybe something, so some mind games that we're not quite understanding. Maybe often Ryung plays like a BC if he goes 6, and now that makes no sense. Plays like Liberator first or something. Although the Lib would have already hit, so I don't know. maybe just pure 6 Hellions with nothing else. Something that Ryung commonly does. It's difficult to say. I'm not super familiar with Ryung's openers. Ooh, soO expanding in a line here. It's interesting to me when we see these line expansions for 2 reasons. We'll get into that soon. A couple of creep tumors in the middle of the map get taken out. We're heading into a 2 macro game. 9 drones do get taken out. So, 2 reasons here. First reason is that these rocks can be kind of annoying for a Zerg player, as that it becomes difficult to flank a tank position over here. You need to go all the way around. It's pretty easy to stop, I think. You can just leave 1 unit in the bushes here and spot any type of surround coming in. And second of all, the way that you spread creep is that naturally there's going to be more creep over here on kind of this triangle-ish setup. Then there's going to be on the right side. So if a push were to hit in the next, let's say, 30 to 40 seconds, there's not going to be a single creep tumor helping out soO. And these rocks wouldn't have been taken out either. I do like that soO is working on these already. I think that's a correct call. It's also taking the 5th base simultaneously while going up to 76 workers. That's a macro hatch in the main base as well. I do like all of that stuff. Yeah, and this is potentially an issue. This is kind of what I was talking about. Rocks aren't down yet. Good luck getting a quick surround on this army. There's like 3 tumors, that's about it. 1-1 finishing up, combat shield about to finish up as well. Bailing speed is already done, which is helpful. If this is going to be a single angle engagement coming out of soO, this could be a pretty decent trade here for Ryung. I don't think Ryung's going to win the game here. I'm not that delusional yet, but I do believe there are some possibilities. Okay, so here comes the flank. We're seeing it set up over here, the top left side. You need to be so careful if you're soO, because once you go, you need to go. You can't just go and go back. You need to really commit to the push kill. He's gonna clean this up rather easily. Halberds will get taken out as well. Take a look at the supply. We see that Ryung has fallen in supply quite a bit. Really quite a bit. 4CC is on the way already. 2-2 has started. This is the one thing that you could say is with the timing that Ryung hit, it's an upgrade interfering timing. And what I mean with that is that whenever a Terran player is on your doorstep and you're a Zerg, you're not sure if you're surviving, you ideally want to be morphing a lot of Banelings, right? Banelings are a tool that keeps you safe. But if you morph Banelings, you're spending a lot of the gas that could be going into upgrades into units, which means that it delays your next set of upgrades. So if you can if you're not planning on doing an all-in, and you can kind of force that type of upgrade delay, then your next timing attack, in this case maybe with a 2-2 timing, could be very powerful. Especially if you manage to keep your tanks alive and you manage to delay your opponent's upgrade. Sadly for Ryung that wasn't the case, because his tanks did end up falling, but it's still just an interesting thought. It's not necessarily on purpose, like, oh, this timing I know his upgrades are gonna start, but it's just a side effect of that push there, which is cool to see. 4 more Marauders in production right now. We have concussive shells as well coming out. Planetary is already morphing, and Ryung is staying on a lower SCV count, which does make me believe that he's keen on hitting a bit of a timing. The higher the SCV count, of course, the smaller the maxed out army is going to be. And also the more the focus is going to be on extra command centers. It is going to be a maxed out army. It's going to be capable of moving across the map pre-max. This is actually kind of a big deal. These delayed upgrades here for soO could play a gigantic role in the upcoming few minutes. Well, the upcoming minute, I should say. Look at this timing. The sense of timing out of Ryung is so solid here. He knows that he most likely has an upgrade lead. Is going to start stimming right now. This is a 2-2 fight off creep against 1-1. And this should go fantastic here for Ryung. I am not so sure what soO is doing here. What a blunder out of him. Attacking off creep like this while your opponent is basically max all-inning into you. It's not an entire all-in, but it is only on 69 nice workers coming out of the Terran player. There's not 5 command centers behind this. Just now the 5th CC is starting. Like, this is a dedicated pressure here coming out of Ryung. And that was a terrible, terrible fight right there for soO. Lots of creep is going to get denied here for free. Mine count has been dwindling a little bit. Do we already have the fast Budo for the mines, actually? Where do you see that? No, we don't. Do we even have a second factory? No, we don't. No second factory, as we have another big push coming in here. Lots of Marines, look at that. 2-2 has finished up at this point as well for soO. And with the Baneling count back up to 30, I don't think soO is going to end up dying. But that was the initial fight felt really, really poor there for our Korean Zerg player. As this drop is not going to go home, it's going to continue dropping in. soO immediately splits off part of these links, turns 2 or 3 of these links into Banes as well. Spore is going to take care of this, or the Queen, for all I care. Doesn't really matter too much, right? Issues being taken care of. Something we don't have to worry about anymore. First Ghosts are now in production. It's just an interesting way to play here out of Ryung. Just this really low worker count. This means A, that he needs to be kind of careful with how he trades. He can just throw away army. And B, it means that his scan count is going to be very low. So lurkers, against lurkers, this style would not be brilliant. But if you know your opponent is like a Hydra Ling Bane player, loves to go into Vipers from that point on out, this might be a very solid solution. If he manages to snipe the Hive and then the spawning pool, that would be huge, because that would mean no adrenal glands whatsoever. Doesn't quite seem to be the case though. I actually would have... would I have preferred a snipe on the adrenal? I'm not so sure. This was still a decent trade, by the way, for Ryung. Just staying very close to that 2-to-1 ratio. At the same time, an aggressive move in as well over here. Ghosts are moving on creep. I'm not so sure what I think of that. Good split-offs coming in from soO. This will be a full pickup. A couple of Marines get Kerrigan behind. As we have more Banelings being taken out there on the left side. Ryung does need to be careful right now. He's throwing away a lot of his army. Does need to be capable of withstanding the next wave of crap that soO can throw at him. The one nice thing is that Vipers are going to be delayed. Kind of the funny part of that, or the irony of focusing so much on sniping the Hive, is that there's actually no tanks in production. So Vipers are good, but they're really mainly good against tanks. I mean, a parasitic bomb on Medivacs is nice, but it's not the end of the world if you don't have Vipers against 10 Medivacs. It is the end of the world if you don't have Vipers and your opponent has 13 tanks. That's definitely not the case here. Still really, really low command center count, extremely low SCV count as well. We have a lot of gas mining. We see, bit of a fight over here. Almost missed that. When I say almost missed that, I mean I did miss that. It's okay. Left side base will get taken out once more as Ryung resets this game into a 5 base versus 5 base situation right now. You have 9 ghosts. Ooh, this base is gone, isn't it? Yep, that base is uber gone. Very little use out of the sensor towers. Just a single one over here. This is the type of play that I really like out of soO. If you're taking out outside bases against such a low eco Terran player, that hurts. It really does hurt. Like having to rebuild 10 workers right now also kind of hurts. If this base gets blasted, that would be... Okay, that's kind of... So sick. Whenever one of them takes out a base, the other one does the same thing. Huh. Ryung actually in an okay position still. Does need to be careful though. He's one bad fight away from just being straight up dead. And his factory unit count is surprisingly low. He has 7 mines. And now we're adding 2 extra factories. That's going to be a couple of extra tanks. Wouldn't mind seeing the high-sec auto-tracking as well as the building armor coming in. Useful, very useful upgrades. Especially the high-sec auto-tracking. Yeah, there we go. Huge fan of this. +1 range to missile turrets, auto turrets, and planetary fortresses. You have the first 2 medevacs flying across the map right now. Well, the first 2. The 10th and the 11th medevac, I should say. Being rallied up over here, being queued up into this 6th base. We still have a bunch of medevacs in the main as well. Vipers should be on the way out. They are not. These bad boys boost into a base, straight into a spore. At the same time, the right side Marines, they'll get a cancel on this hatchery for sure. Well, if they stim, now it's going to be, well, it's not going to be close even. It's just not going to end up working at all. A couple of links will get taken out, but one medevac gets sniped before the pickup. Left side units also will end up falling. Ryung is not sticking to that 2-to-1 ratio anymore. Actually, the last few fights have been somewhat efficient for soO. That is an issue. The army size is still enormous here. Like, just huge. Like, absolutely massive. Ooh. No splits on those ghosts, but not enough banelings to truly make a connection. There was a bit of a spark, but not enough to kill them. This is a weird setup. It's basically a... This is a lair tech army with adrenal glands, that's it. I don't think you can just attack into this, can you? The snipes going off as well, wow. Planetary might get taken out here. When I say might get taken out, it will get taken out. Didn't necessarily feel like that great of a fight though for soO. Counterattack possibilities, are they there? I don't really think they are, right? The thing is that Ryung's army is insanely big. And it has been insanely big this entire time. He never really went above 71, 72 workers. Even now it's just... He's on 170 supply, that's like 21 ghosts. 2 more on the way. Vehicle weapons level 3 coming in as well. More tanks are being constructed, which is good. Not seeing any Vipers yet is extremely confusing. It feels like I'm watching soO headbutt into a wall. Again and again and again. Well, he has a sledgehammer next to him. It's like, you might want to use the hammer, buddy. It hurts less on the head. He's like, no, I got a concussion anyway. Might as well keep going. Another attack here, and this one definitely is going to give him some headaches. I don't think this is going to be it, is it? The problem is that the moment... Yeah, this is the problem. The moment the banelings disappear and the Hydras need to retreat, you just get all of those snipes on the Hydra. So you always lose like 5, 6, 7 extra units for free. There's really nothing you can do about it. What is this random Marine squad? What are these guys doing? They got lost in the forest. Accidentally ate their own medevac. Some minor cannibalism going on. And now they find themselves on Zerg terrain. It's like, alright. I do get an okay trade, I guess, but... Yeah, that's not it. What's the ghost count? 21 still. 21 ghosts are out. Only a single tank. So the tank count has been diminished. It has been diminished. But... So has the baneling count. So has the everything count for Zerg, honestly. Zerg has nothing. Zerg is dead. I really believe that lurkers, or infestors burrow of course also will be useful, but against such a low eco style, such a, what is this, triple 4 orbital maybe? 5, okay. 5 orbital style, I think having lurkers would be huge. I really do believe so, because you just can't keep scanning and can keep using mules. Even if you just get 2 to 3 lurkers, that already consistently forces out scans. It's super annoying for a low eco Terran player. You can't do this type of stuff anymore. All of a sudden throwing down these mules is a massive risk. But if there's no lurker then yeah, it's not going to be possible. It's not a single Viper being built either, by the way, which is also highly surprising to me. Infestors moving in. There's no turret in this general area, which is interesting. This is a standard turret position, because what we're about to see is what we call the standard Zerg clownery on this map. Attack over here on the left side with a bunch of Banes. Terran is forced to rotate towards that left side and then get grabbed by either a fungal or, in this case, maybe even a neural parasite on one of the ghosts into a big EMP. Bam, 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 bam. Oh, it splits. Oh my god. That was really fast. Only ended up losing the energy on like 4 or 5 of these bad boys. Hatchery is going to stay alive, but I mean, you're gonna mine maybe what, like 800-900 minerals from here. Like, Ryung is aware of that, right? Yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh, of course he's aware of this. The hatchery is in the red. Unless some LINGS had done some work on there. It's unlikely that Ryung isn't aware of that. He should be focusing on that as well soon. Tank on this high ground. Drop 8 Marines and then... Gotcha. 21 ghosts moving in. Tanks will get taken out here. A little bit of a flank coming from that bottom side. Planetary is going to get taken out. Orbital will need to re-establish that base a little bit later. 29 more workers coming in, or coming into heaven maybe, but not coming into this game anymore. Vehicle plating level 2. Whew. This is going to be an insane army, that's for sure. Like, no matter what Ryung is going to use here to max out with, it is going to add a lot of power into this. I personally wouldn't mind a couple of extra Marauders, just for the tanking ability in kind of at the front of the army. in my opinion, would be pretty huge. I don't mind the extra tanks, the extra liberators as well. He's not rebuilding workers either. He's going for a max push. He really is just going for a max push. And saying, hey, I know you're not at the greatest eco either, soO. I know that's a fact. And... Ooh. Holy crap. This has not been spotted, has it? What are these random links doing here? Here, these guys are cosplaying. What is this? Oh, big scan is not going to reveal the burrowed banes yet on that one side. It's just a... Is this a good fight though, actually, for Ryung? I was gonna say this is gonna be such a good fight for Ryung, but actually ends up being pretty okay here for soO. soO wants to kind of reset that army counter. Uh-oh. 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 Oh. Oh. 5 ghosts or so. I mean, it's big. It's very big, especially given the current gas count. More SCVs are being produced right now as Ryung realizes that his brilliant plan of maxing out with 170 army supply is not going to end up working if you're on 33 SCV and you're currently on 120 army supply. So he's kind of going to give up that right side defense and move over aggressively towards the left. Can get a pickup going here. Hello? I'm seeing one of these ghosts. Ay, ay, ay. Oh, here comes an infestor. You can't see it, don't forget. It is visible. Up. Oh, that's an interesting EMP. Still snipes available though. Not the end of the world, really. Those move towards their little corner. A couple of liberators already set up. If some of these Hellbats stay alive, that would be huge because there's just so many links. Bailing count is not high enough. That means that soO is going to get pushed back completely here. And he's going to lose every single unit as well. Ghost on the left side that kind of ran away from the fight. I'm not sure if they've deserted or... yeah. Are they true traitors? No, they stood watching from a distance. They probably got a couple of kills as well, but you know they weren't there when things got tough. You know, they ran away to their little corner. Tucked in nicely. Like Mama used to tuck them in their sheets. Yeah. If I was one of their mates, I wouldn't let them back into the group, that's for sure. Like, where were they when the hard times came? Yeah, they were over here. Real solid. Covered by some tank on the high ground and a mine on the left. Medevac above them that could evacuate them back to their cozy palaces. These are the... You know how sometimes royalty goes to the army as well? And they always have to be like uber protected? I feel like that's what those ghosts were as well. You know, it's like this, Prince John or whatever. And his mates in the squad. They have their own little private medevac at all times in case one of them bruises their hand or something like that. Ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. 2 more tanks on the way. 22 Marines are out. It's a very interesting game. Funny thing is that Ryung's actually outmining his opponent right now. Also has a bigger army supply. Meanwhile, soO still stuck on layer tech, despite having a hive for the past 25 minutes. Okay, 25 minutes might be overdoing it a bit, but he's had a hive for a long time. Yes, it got sniped once, but even with that in mind, he's had a rebuild hive for a very long time. I'm still surprised that he was so keen on rebuilding the hive. Maybe it was for the upgrades, like the 3-3 or something like that. It's possible. But what else does he really need it for? I mean, he's built no hive units whatsoever. 903 links have gone down though. 10 queens, 3 hatcheries a hive, 11 overseers. Holy crap. Yeah, it's just... I think the main issue that soO had, or the main issue, one of the mistakes that he made is letting this base stay up for too long. The moment Ryung fully rotated towards the left side, where there only was an orbital, mind you, this right side planetary should have been taken out immediately. This should have been the main priority for soO. Absolutely the main priority. He didn't quite understand that. Neither did I initially. I truly did believe that at some points he might have been capable of breaking, but he wasn't. Now we're working against 6 tanks again, and I still believe that having 1 or 2 Vipers would not be a luxury, but almost a necessity. If you see how the last few fights have been going, if you see how most fights have been going in general in this game, the moment the tanks came out, it really just feels like that not having Vipers is... Sometimes you can say that something is a decision, right? It's like just a thing of preference. But in this case, I don't really feel like it's it obviously is a thing of preference, but I also believe it's an actual mistake. I understand that it makes this army comp more comfortable to run around with. You have less high value targets for the ghost just to snipe out of the sky. You need to be less careful in your general army movement. So it of course has upsides. There are advantages to it, but the downside of not being easily capable of breaking these kind of big tank setups, I'm not sure if that is worth it. I just don't know. I don't think it is. I think that Vipers have proven their worth over time already, and it's not really disputed anymore. At least not in my mind. Of course, it's possible, like, sometimes individual players really dislike a unit for whatever reason. They feel like when they use it, it never works well, and in that case, it might still be smart for that individual player to not build it, if they're really bad with a unit. You could say, well, they should practice it, that's true, but this is not a practice game, this is a tournament game, or a competitive game. Like, you want to win here. So yes, you do what you believe are your strengths are. And then as an observer, I can easily say, well, Viper should be built, but maybe soO doesn't feel comfortable with Vipers yet. Maybe it is something that he's practicing, but he's not there yet where it's like, okay, I can do this now. I can win with Vipers very consistently. Maybe this is an army comp he prefers. He's been trading okay at some points, but the moment you're walking into these massive tank setups, with a couple of mines sprawled in, and I actually love these Hellbats as well. The Hellbats provide a lot of value. They're just kind of there as massive Baneling kind of magnets in a way, where the Banelings really want to go for the ghost. They now are forced to sacrifice themselves into these Hellbats, which are rather easily splittable. They take more hits than a Marine does. So yeah, I do like it. Actually, really do like it. They also have really good damage output against LINGS. Like, the moment the Banes disappear, LINGS are practically useless. And with Marines, sometimes LINGS can still do something if you have big enough numbers, but like, you can have 2 Hellbats against 40 LINGS. If there's 2 Medivacs with those Hellbats, the Hellbats are freaking winning. Kind of want to debate my own claim. I'm not sure that's true. It might be actually 40 LINGS. Maybe with Adrenal Glands, not so true. It depends a bit on the positioning as well. Like in between the mineral patch, yeah. If they get fully surrounded, I guess the Hellbats just die. Too much damage output. soO's kind of setting up for the end-all engagement here. Or maybe he's not. And he's just happy mining from this right side base. Eventually you're just gonna need to fight though. It's not like there's going to be a Broodlord transition here. Yeah, this is not the type of game. This game is going to end on this army comp. It started here, it ends here. Cool tank position. Ryung is really smart about that. Oh, his very solid movement. Very far back these tanks often. Really understands how to take this fight. And how to win in these type of scenarios. Understands how to pre-split as well. Lots of Marines, couple of Hellbats on that left side. Still have a tank in the far back. I really, really like that. I love the way that he's pushing forward so slowly, so patient. Just knows he's not in a rush. He's like, yeah, sure, you're mining a little bit from one of my bases, but I've been trading so much better. Overall, this could potentially be painful. Here comes a big fight. Here comes a very big fight, actually. Fungal boys walking in. EMPs are going to connect. Big fungal there on a lot of these Marines, though. But I do believe that with the ghost in the far back. Oh, nice pickup. Very clean play coming out of Ryung. I do believe this is just it, no? No more money in the bank for soO. GG gets called, and after 30 minutes exactly, Ryung manages to take out soO on inside and out in a very nice and solid chess-like game, I want to say. It really felt like we saw soO go for those more primitive tools and just the pure the pure Ling Bane. 26 Hydra. So little Hydras as well. That is so sick. 6 Infestors, 26 Hydras, 1100 Lings. Holy crap. That is mental. Actually mental. What else is mental is that this is the end of the video. Thanks everyone so much for watching. Hope you did enjoy it. If you did, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all of you next time for a new video. Thank you so much, and bye bye.